The next type of issue we deal with is reneging and shirking. And basically what this means is states don't always honor their commitments to other states. The Constitution and national laws solve many of these dilemmas by authorizing the federal government to take direct action in raising resources and administering policy. A great example of this comes in air and water pollution, where, for example, the great state of Ohio can have a bunch of factories that spew smoke and pollute the air, but the pollution doesn't stay over Ohio. Instead, it blows east over Pennsylvania, forcing them to deal with it, even though they never caused the problem. It's rational for Ohio, and, great, because, who cares about Pennsylvania? So rational Ohioans say, let's keep polluting, because we don't have to suffer the consequences of pollution, but we can keep our thriving auto industry, keep jobs, life is good. Pennsylvania, on the other hand, complains that you're sending your bad air over to us. This is why the federal government had to step in with the Clean Air Act to make sure that each state controls pollution and contributes to the public good of clean air. So at the end of the day, all Americans have cleaner air to breathe and all that good stuff. States will avoid doing their commitments, basically, keeping their commitments if they don't have to. So again, the federal government has to step in on a number of these policies. The final problem we're going to talk about today is cutthroat competition. And this is exactly what it sounds like. Under the Articles of Confederation, each state was free to conduct its own international trade policy. This was great for other countries who were seeking to purchase goods for lower costs because there was more competition in the marketplace, driving prices down. This was good for other countries, bad for states, and bad for America in general because we had several states competing for the same business. That drives prices down, brings in less money, meant fewer resources for America to use for whatever purposes it wanted. However, if we all coordinate and only have one nation trading with foreign countries, we effectively gain monopoly protection, which drives up prices for American goods, bringing more money into our economy. Nationalization helped us resolve this problem and helped all the states eventually do better because they now all had a monopoly market for their products. Some modern examples of this are in trying to create national minimum wage standards or environmental regulations. States with a higher minimum wage or stiffer environmental regulations can see businesses leave their state to go to states with more lax regulations. This leads those states to want greater regulation from the federal government that rises to their level. So if I'm California and I have a high minimum wage, I'm likely to see businesses leave my state to go to Virginia or Texas where they have lower minimum wage, lower restrictions on business. That's bad for Californians, so they want to see the federal government step in and force Virginia, Texas, etc. to step up to their level. Similarly, we see competition where certain states offer tax breaks or special services to companies to relocate to those states. This competition drives down wages and causes fewer tax dollars to come into each of the states. Another example I wanted to talk about is what we call a race to the bottom. And this is where states don't want homeless people in their state, let's say. So they cut spending on social services, ways to reach out to the poor. This drives those homeless people into other states who don't want homeless people either, so they then cut spending on social services below the other state, trying to make themselves less attractive, forcing the homeless people back to the original state. This circles and spirals until we eventually start punishing homeless people as a way of making it be even more unpleasant to live in the state. There's a great example of how New York City solved their homeless problem by making it so unpleasant to be there that it drove all the homeless people into other areas of the state. The same number of people are homeless, but the people of New York City don't have to look at them anymore, so they're happy, they feel like the mayor's done a great job, everybody wins, except for the homeless people, of course. This hasn't solved the real problem, but they've moved it somewhere else, winning the race to the bottom.